October 1962. The entire world was standing on the brink of a terrifying nuclear war. Everyone around America, even the top military advisors, were putting intense pressure on President John F. Kennedy to immediately launch an attack on Russia. In such a turbulent moment, if Kennedy had given a wrong order in a hurry or out of emotion, World War III would have broken out in a matter of moments. But he did not do that. He removed himself from everyone and made himself completely solitary and calm. By walking in silence in the White House garden for a long time to steady his mind, and by pushing away everyone's pressure, he came up with such a cool-headed diplomatic solution that saved the entire world from certain destruction. From today's video, you will learn how to magically keep your mind calm despite the intense psychological pressure, noise, and excitement all around you, so that you can make the best and most accurate decision of your life in any difficult situation. Quietening the mind is not the work of a single day, it is a lifestyle. When you say goodbye to both the regrets of the past and the imaginary fears of the future and learn to enjoy every single moment with full awareness, only then will your mind reach an unshakable state of peace and stillness. The core foundation of the Taoism philosophy of Lao Tzu, the famous ancient Chinese philosopher, was living in the rhythm of nature. He observed that nothing in nature is in a hurry, yet river water still reaches the ocean and trees still grow from seeds. Part 1. The Mind. Chapter 1. Freezing the Moment. The world around us is constantly creating noise to steal our attention. No matter how turbulent the outside situation is, being able to keep the inner mind completely calm and still is the key to true intelligence and success. Only when you can slow down the speed of thoughts inside your mind and focus on the present moment is it possible to make the right decisions. In October 1962, when the Cuban Missile Crisis was underway, the entire world was standing on the brink of a nuclear war. Everyone around America, even the military advisors, were putting intense pressure on President John F. Kennedy to immediately launch an attack on Russia. If Kennedy had made a decision out of emotion in that turbulent and hurried moment, a world war would have broken out. But Kennedy made himself completely solitary, calm, and still. He calmed his mind by walking in silence in the White House garden for a long time, pushed away everyone's pressure to come up with a cool-headed diplomatic solution, and saved the world from destruction. Chapter 2. Thinking Deeply. Be completely present in the now. When we do any work, even though our body is there, our mind often wanders off to some memory of the past or some anxiety about the future. True mastery is giving 100% of your attention to the task or the person right in front of you at this very moment. The real beauty of life and the solutions to major problems lie hidden within this ability to be completely immersed in the present moment. In 2010, artist Marina Abramović put on a unique performance art piece at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. For 3 consecutive months, she sat perfectly still in a chair for 7.5 hours every day, looking straight into the eyes of completely strange visitors who came and sat in front of her without speaking a single word, without making any movement. Thousands of people stood in line to take part in this performance. When Marina sat completely still, looking only at the person in front of her, the visitors felt immense peace and many burst into tears. This was because, in this busy modern world, they had finally found someone who was entirely present with them in that moment, giving them absolute attention without any judgment. Action item for today. Today, when you speak with your family, friends, or a colleague, Chapter 3: Clearing the Mental Clutter. Empty your mind to spark creativity. Our brain is not a hard drive where we must store all the world's unnecessary information, social media trolls, and other people's opinions. To create something new and creative, you first need to clear out the junk of unnecessary thoughts inside your head and empty your mind. The lighter your mind becomes, the sharper your decision-making ability will be. When the famous basketball coach Phil Jackson managed powerhouse teams like the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Lakers, before teaching superstars like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant playing techniques, he taught them how to empty their minds. At the start of practice, he would gather all the players in a dark room in complete silence and guide them through Zen meditation. Phil Jackson knew that if multi-million-dollar contracts, media pressure, and personal egos could not be wiped from the players' minds before they stepped onto the court, they would not be able to focus on the game. Because of this habit of clearing the mind, he won a record 11 championships as a coach. Action item for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning after waking up. Chapter 4: Slowing Down. Do not generalize progress with speed. The modern world teaches us to run fast, react quickly, and make decisions in a hurry. But speed does not always bring progress. Rather, decisions made in haste turn out to be wrong most of the time. When faced with any complex problem, we need to slow down our pace, go deep into the facts, and think with a cool head instead of taking a step driven by emotion. When Martin Luther King Jr. was leading the movement against racism in American history, he was constantly receiving threats. One night, after a severe threat over the phone, he sat at his kitchen table experiencing extreme mental restlessness and was contemplating whether to leave the movement altogether. Instead of making a sudden decision, he slowed down. Resting his head on the table, he tried to connect with his inner strength in deep silence. It was because he took the time to think deeply rather than making a hurried decision to run away that he was able to conquer his fear and lead the movement with double the strength from the very next day. Action item for today. Today, whenever an important email, message, or difficult situation comes before you, instead of replying, Chapter 5: The Power of Journaling. Put your thoughts on paper to unwind your mind. Thousands of random thoughts, fears, and frustrations swirl around inside our heads every day. The easiest and most effective way to calm this wild stream of thoughts is to bring them down onto the pages of a notebook. Writing a diary or journal is not a pursuit of literature. Rather, it is a psychological therapy to untangle the knots of your mind and rediscover yourself. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful and wealthiest emperors in the history of the Roman Empire. When the entire empire was shaking with war, plague, and betrayal, he kept himself calm in a unique way. Deep at night, inside his tent on the battlefields, he would light a candle and write a diary to himself. He did not write to show anyone else. He wrote to steady his mind and to remind himself how to live as a good human being. That personal diary of the emperor is known today as one of the most famous books in history, Meditations. If he had not poured his mental restlessness onto the pages of his diary, he might never have become one of the greatest cool-headed rulers. Chapter 6: Asking Question After Question. Listen and observe to uncover the truth. When we keep talking continuously, we do not actually learn anything new. We merely repeat the things we already know. True clarity comes from stopping the outside noise and consciously creating silence within and around yourself. When you stop talking, deeply observe the situation around you and learn to ask the right questions. Only then will the truth and correct decisions become clear to you. French Field Marshal Ferdinand Foch was the supreme Allied commander during World War I. During the most horrific days of the war, when news of bombardments and the deaths of thousands of people was pouring in from all sides, he did not shout, scream, or panic like other generals. He made it a rule to spend 1 to 2 hours every day completely alone in the silence of a closed room. No officer was allowed to enter that room. Foch knew that it was impossible to design the right battle strategy while standing amidst the sound of cannon fire and the shouting of officers. By immersing himself in that absolute silence, he found the solutions to the most complex riddles of the war and ultimately led the Allied forces to victory. Action item for today. Starting today.
Chapter 7. Acquiring knowledge, not information. Seek eternal wisdom over temporary news. Nowadays, we are floating in a tide of information, yet suffering from an extreme lack of knowledge. Instead of chasing transient news or data on social media, search for that eternal knowledge or wisdom which stands the test of time. Information can give you temporary excitement, but only wisdom can calm your mind and make your life meaningful. Zeno, a famous Olympic boxer and philosopher of ancient Greece, once lost all his wealth in a horrific shipwreck and became completely destitute. Arriving in Athens in a state of extreme mental distress, he walked into a bookstore and began reading about the life and philosophy of the philosopher Socrates. The eternal knowledge of that book wiped away all the restlessness and grief from his mind. He asked the shopkeeper, "Where can I find men of this kind of wisdom?" The shopkeeper then pointed to the philosopher Crates, who was walking. Zeno became his disciple and later founded the famous philosophy called Stoicism, which has been giving billions of people around the world the strength to stay calm and still for the past 2,000 years. If Zeno had chased temporary news, he would never have found this peace of mind and wisdom. Action.
Chapter 8. Leaving Ego Behind. Differentiate confidence from ego to stay grounded. Although the line between self-confidence and ego is very thin, their results are completely opposite. Ego makes a person blind and restless, while true self-confidence keeps a person calm and still. An arrogant person is always tossing and turning in a rush to prove themselves. But someone who has deep self-confidence in their own capability remains undisturbed by any outside praise or criticism. During the American Civil War, General George McClellan was a highly arrogant military officer. He considered himself a hero like Alexander or Napoleon and loved to see his own praise in the newspapers. Because of this ego, he acted entirely on his own whims and even disregarded President Abraham Lincoln himself. As a result, he repeatedly made wrong decisions in battle and faced major failures. On the other hand, Abraham Lincoln had no ego. He possessed deep self-confidence. He quietly endured McClellan's insults with a calm face solely for the sake of the country. It was because of Lincoln's calm, ego-free and steady mind that he ultimately won the war and saved America. Action item for today. Today, when someone criticizes your work or disagrees with you, instead of getting angry and trying to prove yourself the best, listen to it calmly with a smile and keep your focus on your work.
Chapter 9. Giving up the addiction to news. Focus only on what you can control. In today's information age, 24-hour breaking news and social media notifications are constantly overstimulating our brains. There is absolutely no need for you to know every piece of news happening in the world. To stay healthy and calm, you must consciously distance yourself from this endless stream of news. Obsessing over information that is outside of your control or that plays no positive role in your life means willingly sacrificing your own peace of mind. Epictetus, one of the most influential philosophers of Greece, was born a slave. In his philosophy, he repeatedly taught one core lesson: there are two things in the world. One is within your control, and the other is outside of your control. While major leaders of the Roman Empire ruined their peace of mind every day by chasing morning government announcements or political rumors, Epictetus remained completely calm. He used to say, "If you want a calm mind and wisdom, do not allow yourself to look foolish over trivial and unnecessary outside news." Because he focused on controlling his own thoughts instead of chasing the news, he freed himself from slavery and became one of the greatest free thinkers.
Chapter 10. Finding Heaven in the Present Moment. Happiness is now, not a future destination. We always think, once this goal is fulfilled, once I can buy this thing, or once I reach that place, only then will I be peaceful and happy. Contentment or peace is not a future destination. Being able to be at peace in this present moment with whatever you have is what true happiness is called. If you cannot be calm now, your mental restlessness will not go away even if you achieve all the wealth or success in the world. When the conquering emperor Alexander the Great invaded the ancient Greek city of Corinth while dreaming of taking over the entire world, he crossed paths with the famous philosopher Diogenes. Wearing only a piece of cloth, Diogenes was calmly sunbathing by the roadside. He had no house or wealth. Emperor Alexander went and stood before him, saying, "I am Alexander. I have heard a lot about your calm mind. Do you need anything? I can bring it to you." Diogenes looked at the emperor with calm eyes and said, "Yes, please step aside a little. You are blocking the sunlight coming onto my body." Alexander was astonished and told his companions, "If I were not Alexander, I would want to be Diogenes." Even after conquering hundreds of kingdoms, Alexander's mind was not at peace. Yet by remaining still in the present moment, Diogenes. Chapter 11. Quieting the mind completely. Embrace stillness as a continuous way of life. When you say goodbye to both the regrets of the past and the imaginary fears of the future and learn to enjoy every single moment with full awareness, only then will your mind reach an unshakable state of peace and stillness. The core foundation of the philosophy of Lao Tzu, the famous ancient Chinese philosopher, and his Taoism was living in the rhythm of nature. He observed that nothing in nature is in a hurry, yet river water still reaches the ocean and trees still grow from seeds. While Roman or Greek emperors could not sleep at night due to the worries of planning wars and managing kingdoms, the Zen and Tao masters of the East lived completely carefree lives. Lao Tzu taught that if you can steady your mind like calm waters, the reflection of the entire universe can be seen in it. Because of this mindful lifestyle, they maintained a state of mental tranquility even amidst extreme adversities, which cannot be bought with any amount of wealth. Action item for today. Today, whenever you do any activity, be it walking, the core lessons of the 11 chapters at a glance. Chapter 1. Today, Whenever an angry situation arises, instead of reacting immediately, take 3 deep breaths and remain completely silent for at least 30 seconds. Chapter 2. Today, whenever you speak with family or friends, put your mobile phone away, look into their eyes for at least 5 minutes, and listen to them with deep attention. Chapter 3. Tomorrow morning, after waking up, keep your mind completely free of information by not checking any social media, messages, or news for the first 30 minutes. Chapter 4. Today, if an important message or a difficult situation comes before you, instead of replying right away, tell yourself, I will think about this 1 hour from now. Chapter 5. Tonight, before going to sleep, take a piece of paper and write down at least 5 lines of whatever worries or angers are in your mind by our own hand without worrying about structuring it. Chapter 6. Starting today, in any chat or meeting, instead of speaking first, remain completely silent for the first 10 minutes and deeply observe what others are saying. Chapter 7. Today, instead of reading sensational news on social media, spend at least 15 minutes reading a book that will still be beneficial to humanity 100 years from now. Chapter 8. Today, when someone criticizes your work or disagrees with you, instead of getting angry and trying to prove yourself the best, listen to it with a calm face. Chapter 9. Starting today, completely stop watching any kind of breaking news, political talk shows, or online news portals for at least 3 days. Chapter 10. Tonight, before going to sleep, make a list of 3 simple things present in your life for which you are truly grateful to the Creator from the bottom of your heart. Chapter 11. Today, whenever you do any activity, such as walking or drinking tea, instead of thinking about anything else, place your entire attention solely on the sensations of that task. Every single one of the world's top billionaires and celebrities dedicates at least 1 hour every day to the pursuit of knowledge, which is why they belong to the top 1% today. Don't forget to let us know in the comments how you liked the video. See you again in the unraveling of a new mystery.